It's been a minute since I made my deep dive into why I sold everything to go 100% into XEQT. Back then, I called it the ultimate pre-built computer of the investing world. Because, pre-built computer, you don't really have to do anything, everything is done for you. You just give them your money, they give you the computer. But as we move through the year, the market has thrown a lot of noise at us. AI bubbles, interest rate shifts, and global volatility. And a lot of people have been asking, Andrey, are you still in? Are we doing something else this year? And today I'm giving you an update. We're going to look at how XEQT has actually performed, why the 100% equity is a little bit different this year, and whether the new competitors from Vanguard or BMO have managed to unseat XEQT as the top ETF. When I first posted that video, the idea of being 100% in stocks felt like a no-brainer, because all the stocks were just pumping. Now we've seen what higher for longer really looks like. Some investors have actually started drifting towards XGRO, which is 80% stocks, or even XBAL, which is 60% stocks, to capture those higher bond yields. Especially with what's happening in the world, I've actually been getting a lot of comments about the alternatives to an all-equity ETF, even though it's global, which is fair. It's very easy to be positive when everything is pumping, but once stocks start moving down, the S&P, the XEQT, everything in the world, you're not really sheltered in any country right now from the impact of, what's happening with the war and the oil prices going up. Everyone is hurting right now. But look, for me, the philosophy hasn't changed. If your timeline is 10, 20, or 30 years like mine is, the math still favors XEQT. Bonds are absolutely great for stability, but they're a drag on long-term growth. And if you can stomach the swings, which is hard to do, XEQT is still the most efficient tool to capture total global growth. As I always say, it's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market. Oh my god, that sounds so cringe. It sounds like I am acting like I came up with it, but no, it's a very popular saying. So like I always say, more money, more problems. I came up with that. The other one about time and timing in the market, I came up with too. So anyways, let's move on. One of the biggest critiques of XEQT recently has been its 25% allocation to Canada and the 45% allocation to the US. Some people look at the explosive growth of S&P 500 and think, why am I holding Canada or emerging markets? They're just dragging me down. And look, surprisingly, I've actually gotten a lot of comments about this, about people saying, okay, I like this, but I want to have more exposure to S&P 500. What can I do? And I tell them, look, you can use VFV and you can put 50% in XEQT, 50% in VFV, for example, and then so you end up with 60-70% in the US. But here's the reality. A home country bias is actually a feature, not a bug. The 25% in Canada provides a currency hedge and tax efficiencies, like dividend tax credit, that you don't get with pure US total market ETFs like VTI. Plus, history shows that the US doesn't stay on top forever. By holding XEQT, you're betting on the world, not just a single country. When the US eventually cools off and international markets heat up, XEQT rebalances for you automatically. And this is the silent engine I talked about in the original video, and it's still the reason I sleep at night. Now let's look at the competitors. BlackRock's XEQT isn't the only game in town anymore. Vanguard's VEQT is a rival of it, the most notable one, but we've also seen more specialized all-in-one funds popping up from BMO and even Horizons, now called Global X. XEQT MER is still sitting pretty low, at 0.2%. Some of the newer versions of this ETF are trying to undercut them at 0.18% or even lower, but for a 100K portfolio, that's $20 difference per year. Honestly, it is negligible. One thing I've noticed as we move through the year is that XEQT's quarterly distributions have remained incredibly consistent. So, in fact, I just got a payment, I think, last week. If you're using Wealthsimple or Questrade to drip those dividends back into more shares, the compounding effect is starting to look very significant for those who started a few years ago. Of course, it's nothing out of ordinary. As I mentioned, it's not a dividend ETF, but there is a little something that you get every 3 months. Can't complain. So, for over a year now, some would say that the market has been behaving very irrationally. So, if you think you can predict it, I would say, look, this is good for you. But I found something that I would much rather embrace. Peace of mind and low friction. I don't want to spend my weekends rebalancing 4 different ETFs or 50 different stocks to save $15 in fees. I want to click one button, buy XEQT, and get back to living my life, doing whatever I want to do. So the simplicity premium of XEQT is worth more to me than ever. It removes the analysis paralysis that stops so many people from starting in the first place. In fact, a few days this year, we've had XEQT go up 3%, go down 3%, and S&P swing even more. So at that point, when do you enter? And the answer is, as long as you have a predictable schedule, as long as you invest on the first of every month, specific amount of money, that's really the best you can do. If you can predict that the market is going to go up or down, you are probably already a billionaire. And if you can't, like me, then as long as you consistently invest, you will be okay over time. Trust me. Anyways, let's wrap this up. Am I still all in? The short answer is yes. I haven't sold a single share. If anything, the volatility of the last year has only proven that a diversified, globally neutral portfolio is the only way to stay somewhat sane. Whether TSX is up or S&P is down, I know I own a piece of essentially 9,000 companies, including the giants like Apple and the emerging leaders in Asia. So if you're still sitting on the sidelines because you're worried about the right time to buy, remember that XEQT is designed to be the only time. You buy it today, you buy it next month, and you let BlackRock handle the rest. Don't worry about this specific day-to-day timing. So, are you holding XEQT, or have you started adding a little bit of spice with individual tech stocks or crypto this year to feel something? I'm genuinely curious if anyone has actually jumped the ship from bond-heavy portfolio with everything happening in the world and prices of oil being the way they are, pumping insane. Drop a comment and let me know. And if you're new to the channel, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.